You gotta be, you gotta be.
Hi, welcome to You Gotta Be, podcast that looks at the lives and work of women-identified DJs. And today we have PeculiarOne. Tonise Williams, aka the PeculiarOne, is born and raised by her mother, Tonya White, and late grandmother, Hattie Williams, in the city of New Haven, Connecticut. Currently, she resides in the Queen City, Charlotte, North Carolina. Raised in a musical family is how she developed an interest and passion for melodious sounds. Her musical influences include her late grandmother, mother, and Uncle Keith Williams. In August of 2017, the PeculiarOne moved to Atlanta, Georgia. It is then when she began her journey in pursuit of becoming a DJ. She scouted the Atlanta streets in an attempt to find a mentor to teach her the craft of DJing. She finally secured a student-teacher relationship with DJ Shay, who is an Atlanta DJ and owner of King Armor Sound. After being under the tutelage of DJ Shay for approximately 6 months, DJing came to a halt after receiving the traumatic news of her brother being killed in March of 2018. In October of 2018, the PeculiarOne moved to Charlotte, North Carolina, aspiring to enhance her DJ skills while simultaneously grieving the loss of her brother. During her time in Charlotte, she has networked, establishing great relationships and friendships with numerous DJs in the city. In December of 2021, she registered her DJ business, Peculiar Vibe Entertainment, which has served as a catalyst, blessing her to be hired to DJ for private and corporate events. The PeculiarOne has received the opportunity to DJ for Starbucks regional events, participated in DeKalb Atlanta Carnival, and was given an opportunity to display her talents in her very first showcase in July 2022, hosted by DJ Mike Scott in Charlotte, North Carolina. In the future, PeculiarOne would love to host events dedicated toward youth and adolescent populations. In the world of entertainment, she also would love to dabble in music production, start a podcast show, amongst many other projects of interest. Welcome, the PeculiarOne.
Thank you. So glad to be here. Thank you.
So first I'd like to say, sorry to hear about your brother.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. And then we are going to get right into the interview. What is the first song you remembered loving as a child and why?
The first song I remember was my mom used to play Members Only by, I think it was Bobby Bland. It's like, members only. It's a private party. Mm-hmm. Don't need no money. My mom used to blast that song all the time. And I remember she played it so much that we always used to go to this record shop back then. They sold it was CDs. They don't use CDs anymore, or cassette tapes. And we used to go to this record shop and she would pick up that artist just to hear that one song. And I just remember being in the back seat of her car, just always hearing her have that song on repeat once. So that was the very first song I could remember.
Yeah. What are your favorite genres to DJ to? And then what are your favorite genres to dance to?
Man, all right. I love 90s hip hop and R&B because I'm a 90s kid. So I remember, grooving to a lot of those songs, and some of them I probably shouldn't have been, because now in retrospect, when I look back, I'm like, dang, that's what they were really saying. A lot of those songs were subliminal compared to nowadays. But 90s hip hop and R&B for sure. I grew up on a lot of Caribbean music, different genres of Caribbean music. So I grew up on soca, dancehall, reggae, calypso, And even my uncle, he introduced me to a lot of different Hispanic genres because he was into live bands. He played like the trombone, and was always like connected to different type of artists. So he introduced me to like a lot of like the Hispanic genres growing up. And the songs I love to listen to, I love listening to Caribbean music. It's just something about it, that up tempo just gets you going, get you ready for your day, especially in those low days when I'm just like not really wanting to get ready for the day. I put on some of that Caribbean music, especially soca music, because it has so upbeat, and it just energizes me and get me going.
Excellent. Do you have family history in the Caribbean? Is that how you
For
got
sure.
to it?
For sure. So my dad is from Kingston. Well, he's from Jamaica. It's a section in I always mess up this name. Red Hills. It's a section in Kingston called Red Hills. He's from there. And then my grandmother's father is from the Bahamas. The Barbados, I'm sorry. Same time as Barbados. And so and my mom, she was born and raised in the States, but she was always dating Caribbean men. So that culture of that type of music and the culture always stayed with her, even with the history that we have. So she was always playing a lot of like the reggae music, soca music, calypso, dance hall. It was just always a part of our everyday routine. So
Great.
yeah.
How exciting. I like that. I like a lot of different genres. As a matter of fact, I did a reggaeton and Mombatan set last night. So get a little island vibe going.
Exactly.
What made you decide to become a DJ?
Honestly, I remember I was a kid. I had to be like, 'cause I grew up on music. I come from a musical family. Like, I grew up in the church, and I was always going to like church events with my grandmother, and just being a part of different like events like choirs and probably in the praise and worship teams, and even venturing out outside of that, and just like being connected to my uncle and him always having like live events. So, but my first memory, I do remember me being in the backseat, like I said, being in the backseat of my mom's car, and I used to try and like in my head blend like whatever songs I heard on the radio. I would in my head try and figure out like how to mix them. Or I remember being in the back of the car and like trying to scratch like the song would be on, and I would like literally be in the back trying to like, and I don't even know where I got that from, because honestly, like I have like very minimal memory. Like my memory, I remember MC Light back then, but I didn't really see her too much on TV. So I was just like, I don't even know where I even got that from. Like, but I do just remember just being in the back of my mom's car, just trying to figure out where I could scratch. And so on certain records, or like if I heard a song or two, like how I would mix them together, like where I would cut it off and blend in the next song, which is just weird to me and whatnot as an adult when I think about it. But
So did you watch a lot of MTV or something? Like you must have seen it somewhere.
yeah, I watched a lot of MTV. That back then it was like MTV, TRL,
Yep.
BET. So yeah, I did watch a lot of that. But I mean, I don't really remember watching it in my toddler years. Like I remember
Okay.
like more so watching it when I was like more so like middle school.
Uh,
But like I was probably about 6 or 7, maybe when I remember like actually just being in the back of the car trying to like
That's so
scratch, ear scratch.
Air scratch.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. I think it's always been in me, but I didn't really start pursuing it until my adult years. So,
Yeah. Um, so you already talked a little bit about what the favorite genres you like to listen to when you aren't DJing. You like hip
mhm.
hop and R&B, and then Caribbean music really gets you going. Are there any other genres that you've are there any genres that you've recently discovered? that you like listening to?
Um, I honestly no. I feel like I'm really an eclectic individual. Like I'm from the city, but I went to school in the suburbs, so that actually also introduced me to rock music, country music, um, house music, pop, like different genres. Because I mean, of course, being from the city, it was a lot of like hip hop and R&B, especially when I went to school from. It was just a lot of like a hip hop and R&B scene. But I feel like for the most part, because I have a good background, um, in both environments, I feel like it's opened me up to a different variety of music, and I'm open to playing all music, and I listen to all music. Um, so yeah, there's really not one genre that I say that I'm not really listening to. I'm open to pretty much listening to everything.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
always tell people a story. I used to go to, like your mom did, go to record stores,
Yeah.
and I'd pick up albums that just looked interesting or CDs that just looked interesting. That's how I discovered Esther Phillips. I picked
Hmm.
up a record with that, and it was From a Whisper to a Scream, and it just looked interesting. So I took it home and then fell in love with her. And then I one time I was in that record store and I picked up a CD that was Brazilian. I
Mm.
really love bossa nova. Really
Mm.
love bossa nova. Well, I get it home and I put it on and it's speed metal. Like like I don't know, like 160 beats or something. It was just
Right.
crazy. I was like, ah. But a lot of times that's how I sort of discover new music is just, oh, this looks interesting. Let me take
Right.
this home.
Right, but I will say, like, I have developed more of an interest in like discover in listening to more independent artists because, of course, everyone's into the mainstream music, and that's nothing wrong with it. But I love listening to like independent artists just to see like what their sound is, or just to see like what they're singing or rapping about. So
Hmm.
that has been like one thing that I have been doing within the last year. Is just like I'll be on like Tidal or Spotify and just listening. And even sometimes I've discovered them on YouTube because I think it's called the Color Network or something on YouTube, where they have put out a lot of like independent artists who have a couple of them have made it to mainstream. But that's something that I like to do as well.
Yeah, I'm always exploring new music. I Shazam music I hear on television shows.
Right.
Yeah. Um, so how did you build your business or market yourself?
Well, I was using social media a lot. So even when I started my when I started receiving my mentorship from DJ Shy in Atlanta.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. I was all like I would post videos of me practicing with him, um, just to get it out there that hey, I'm trying to DJ and things like that. And then when I felt like I got a little better, I was like putting myself out there on Instagram and still posting a lot on Facebook as well. Building my business, I was working full time and also working part time. So DJ equipment is expensive.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
It is expensive. So I was working part time to try and support myself with buying just the basic things that I needed, just in case I might have picked up a gig.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And honestly, I held on. My first controller was an SB3, and I honestly just upgraded within the last year to a SX2. And I know that's still pretty old, but it's new to me. So, so, so yeah, that's how I've been supporting myself throughout this whole entire time. Just like social media and working another job just to make sure I can have all my equipment that I need.
Yeah, I know. There's always some new piece of something you have
Oh,
to get, or some cord that you don't
yes,
have when you need to have it, and
right,
yeah,
for sure. And and sometimes I'm like, I don't even want to have conversations with some DJs because I know like the main topic of discussion is that they're buying the latest controller or turntable that has came out or something like that. I'm just like, dude, like I'm literally on my second controller. Or I'll talk to DJs and they'll be like, oh, they have a garage full of sound mixers and turntables and controllers, and I'm just like, yeah, I only have two. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
No,
So
I did upgrade, but that's because my main controller, I had an NS62. Is that the
mhm.
same thing you have?
No, I have the Pioneer SX2.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And a channel fader went bad. I don't know how to, and it was something was like shorting things out and stopping the virtual DJ and in the middle of like sets, and it just got weird. And
Right.
so I upgraded.
But I do want to invest in turntables at one point. I have had the opportunity to play on some, and I love how they feel in my hands. I love the sound that they produce, and I'm just like, they're just so expensive.
Yes. Well,
But
what I did is I bought two Stanton T62s,
mhm.
and I found them from different people.
Yeah.
And they're set up for DJing, and they have the pitch slider and everything. And I got both of them for less than $100 because
Oh,
I'm
nice.
not gonna be I'm not gonna be I'm not gonna lug those around everywhere I go. So
Right.
they're just because I want to sort of back train and learn turntables because I feel like
Hmm.
you should
Right.
and work maybe one of them into a set or something like that. But
For sure.
I swore I'd never buy records anymore. And then I got into DJing and I shipped like 2 boxes of records home from
Oh my
California,
gosh.
these jazz records. And I have driven like over an hour to a garage sale to buy records.
Wow.
Yeah. So what are you gonna do? It's an addiction.
Right.
You know?
Right. That's my fear. I don't have enough storage.
I don't either, man. I don't
Yeah.
either. You should see the size of this room that I turned into a music room, and it was one of those situations where I had to move 3 things to put one thing in.
Hmm.
I hired someone to do the heavy lifting. I was
Ah.
like, here, move that over there and this over here.
Right.
And yeah, it's the challenge is real, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
What beginner mistakes did you make that you wish you'd known more about at the time?
Oh man. Not having like backup tech equipment.
Mm-hmm.
My first MacBook started acting up, and I was like praying to God. Like my very first gig I had was back home in Connecticut, and I was using my MacBook, and it was just like giving me all sorts of trouble. And I was just like, Dad, like I'm praying, and I'm just like, please, just like don't shut off on me. We just need to make it a couple of hours, and you could do whatever you want. Like,
Like you can go on vacation after this. Just keep working until
right,
it's over.
right.
Or you
So
see
yeah, that was
that little update thing pop up, and you're like,
right.
no.
Right. So that was my biggest beginner mistake. And I'm just like, now, like, now, what I know now, I'm like, dag, like, I wish I knew then, because I definitely would have put more time, more energy into making sure I had like 2 laptops,
Mm-hmm.
because MacBooks, I use a MacBook. So MacBooks are like really, really, really expensive. And so, yeah, that was my biggest beginner mistake for sure.
No, I hear that. I have backups for the backups,
Yeah, for sure.
right? And then you have a whole playlist on your phone too, just in case, right?
Yes. Yes. And I'm like even telling myself now, you probably need to get a new phone, because like I have a lot of music out there, and I'm just like my phone is really is outdated at this point. So I'm just like probably need to get a new phone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What do you feel is your greatest achievement has been up to this point when it comes to DJing?
Man, my biggest achievement, I would say I have two, honestly. One would be registering my business. It took a lot of man courage to actually do it. I don't know why I was so fearful in doing it. Like I was just like, it's just paperwork. Like that's all it is. Like, so I
They're gonna be
finally
like,
did.
they're gonna be like, you're not a DJ. You can't.
Right. Right. And I just don't know why I was so fearful. So yeah, in December of last year is when I finally registered my business. And then I would say the showcase that I received the opportunity to be a part of last month. Initially I was not on the lineup at all. I was just going to the event to support, and I had received a phone call like literally the day before, like at like 5 o'clock, and I'm in Walmart trying to grocery shop and everything, and I answer the phone, and one of my DJ friends that I used to practice with in Charlotte called me and was like, "Hey, like, can you be a part of the lineup for tomorrow? Like, we need another female DJ." And I was just like, I don't think so. Like, she was just like, "We know you do Caribbean music, you do your Caribbean set or something like that." And I'm just like, it's kind of last minute, but I was like, all right, I'll do it. At the time, I was all my energy was focused on this gig I had in Myrtle Beach that I was sharing with another female DJ. She allowed for me to actually be with her and share that gig with her. So I was preparing for that, and I was preparing mostly for like a gospel set. I had gospel and reggae set, and I was preparing mostly on a gospel set. And I went home that night and I could not get it together. I could not mix anything right. Like I couldn't mix any Caribbean songs right. My nerves got the best of me.
Yeah.
So I woke up the next day and I was like, I'm just going to put this gospel set together, and everything went smoothly. But of course, I'm like, the showcase is at a club, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, how am I going into a club playing gospel music?
I bet people loved it.
They did. I mean, my girlfriend, she was like encouraging me. She was like, "What's your name?" The Peculiar One. Hello, like you're going to go in there, you're going to rock it. Nobody else is going to be playing gospel music. It's going to be something different. And so I did. I went in there and I displayed my set. I also incorporated some soca and some house music, and it actually was fire. And then I actually got a lot of people afterwards that complimented me, mostly on the gospel. They liked the house and soca music, but they were just like, "Hey, that was for me. I appreciate it. Like, thank you for playing those songs." And I was shocked because I was just like, I'm going to look like an idiot playing this daggone gospel music in the club. I'm going to kill the people's buzz. Like, you know what I'm saying?
No, but I play Mary Mary. I play Kanye's Jesus Walks. I play Kirk Franklin every once in a while. So there are some songs that will get you up on your feet.
No, they are. But I was just, in my own head and just like basically self-sabotaging. And I was just like, you need to stop. And it turned out great. And it was an awesome opportunity for sure.
Maybe not His Eyes on the Sparrow. Definitely
not.
Fly.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
Yeah. But that's a great story. And it's funny because I've been in situations where, where I'm practicing or I'm even, doing a live set, live streaming. And it's just like, why can I not beat match? Like even looking at the waveforms, I'm like, why can't I do this? And then it's just like 2 hours is just like an eternity, right?
Right.
And when I'm in the groove, like I look up and I have 15 minutes left. Like I would have played too long. Because I was so in the groove, I wasn't even paying attention.
Right.
But yeah, some nights it's like that. Or some you just cannot. You're like, I have played this song 1,000,001 times.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I can't hear the beat no matter what I do.
And that was the night I wanted to quit. Like,
Yeah,
that was the
exactly.
night
That's
I
how I
did
felt.
not want to DJ anymore. I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. I don't want to DJ. Like, I could not pull it together.
Exactly. Yeah, I feel that. I feel that. It's happened to me.
Yeah.
Um, so how do you keep the music and DJing fresh for yourself? Like, how do you avoid burnout? Because sometimes, it's just like, ugh, I have to practice for this gig. I want to watch TV.
All right. Honestly, I try to like listen whatever songs I'm hearing. I'm always trying to like merge different like genres. I
Mm-hmm.
think that is exciting to me now, that because I definitely struggle with practicing every week, and I feel so bad because I know I should be, but it's like I have so much going on, or by the time I get home I'm exhausted and I don't want to do anything, but like I'm like now just trying to figure out, well, what's something that might be a little bit more exciting for me. So merging different genres. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe like, trying to mix a hip hop song with a rock song or a country song or a pop song, something that, is just like different.
Yeah.
That's what I try to do, to keep myself like going, because it can be a lot.
No, I feel you on that. I've done trance and new classical. That's one thing. That's
Okay.
fun. It worked out really well. Because the interesting thing about trance is that there's like at the drop, it's oftentimes like non-lyric vocals that are very
Mm.
airy, or I've even there's times when there's like been a little violin sonata thing happening in the center. And so my brain was like, oh, there's some cool classical music that would work here. So I stuck it
Right.
in. I've done an
That's dope.
electronica and rock one.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's different.
So I'm like you. I consider myself a multi-genreist, and because I just like everything. I mean, one time I mixed Pat Metheny and David Bowie into a house song because the vibe fit.
For sure.
So
For sure.
I'm like you. I like to try new things. One of the things that I do a lot of times is I go on to shout out to Beatport Link. I go on to Beatport Link, and they have this like the top 100 in different genres,
Mm.
and I just open it up and stream it through my DJing software and just start at the top and work my
Hmm.
way down. Work my way
Nice.
down. That's how I discovered like all this great remixes of old rock songs like Betty Davis Eyes and stuff like that, and funky house. It's
Mm.
just starting at the top and working my way down. I'm like, oh, this is cool.
Right.
I just did a 3-hour set of that stuff. Yeah, so I'm totally into. It's sort of like if it has grooves, if it has a beat, if I can
Right.
figure out how to make it work, it will
Right.
fit in.
Right.
Um, what have been your biggest challenges in the business?
Oh, my biggest challenges. Um, Man, I just feel like just being a woman in a a woman in a predominantly male um field has been the biggest challenge. Especially one who's actually a businesswoman at that. One
Hmm.
has a business. Um, I've had different people try and like offer me like very low rates,
Hmm.
um and like even like delayed responses. Just I felt like they just didn't take me seriously. um and that has been my biggest challenge, and it has been very, very, very frustrating. But ultimately I think that it's just preparing me for what's to come.
Yeah.
So I'm handling it now. So whatever challenges I face now, they won't be as challenging in the future. But yeah, that has been definitely the biggest challenge so far.
Yeah, sometimes I think it's like we don't sometimes know how to sort of, it's a woman thing, I think, sometimes to undersell ourselves and to like if somebody's like when I people would say in my day job, would you consult with on this? And I'm like, God, I don't even like, what do I charge? Like, what's,
Hmm.
and so learning how to do that and being comfortable with the fact that if people aren't willing to pay that, I'm not going to do the
Right.
gig, because I want to get out there and play.
Right.
But I also don't want to like work for 3 hours for $150 total.
Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, that has been very, very frustrating. And I just like had a situation not too long ago. And I was just like, man, I feel like they're giving me the runaround, but it was only because, they wanted to play me a certain rate. And I'm just like, I can't, like, you want to pay me like 30 an hour to play like 5 hours. Well, that's a lot of music. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, and I'm just like, there's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way, and that's not even hitting $200, and I'm just like, yeah, no, no.
Exactly. I hear you on that. It's tough. It's
Yeah.
tough. Um, so you did talk a little bit about challenges for women DJs. Have you ever been in an environment where like a male DJ or promoter or somebody tried to hit on you or anything like that?
Oh, for sure. For sure. When I moved to Atlanta and I was like out trying to find mentors, even when I moved to Charlotte, I did get a lot of like male DJs that were trying to hit on me or like make certain comments or whatever, and I think they were just fishing to see like if I was like trying to be a low key groupie or something like that, and I'll be like, no, this is like strictly business. I'm not trying to look for anything else. I'm just looking for a mentor. Like I literally have. Sometimes I try and like hit it with the homeboy talk, like try to talk like them because I'm just like I need y'all to know like I'm not trying to do anything more than just learn.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was very frustrating as well because I was just like, this is just so unfortunate. Like as a woman, I should not have to be put through. I shouldn't have to experience this. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
a woman should, if I want a DJ, and you should be able to just offer your skill set and that be that. Like it shouldn't be any more. But yeah, it is what it is. But
It is. It is. It could be frustrating. I haven't had too many problems with it, but
yeah,
you see like on social media, they're like, oh, she got that job because she's cute or this or that,
exactly,
or like
exactly.
one post in one group I belong to is like she was wearing like a one of those sexy bras, not the undergarment ones, but the ones that you can wear
Yeah, for
out.
sure.
And all the comments were about how she looked, and then how she looked translated into clearly she wasn't a real DJ.
Yeah,
Clearly, she wasn't actually mixing these songs. And I
yeah,
was like, why you got to be like that?
right,
You know, like
right,
first off, you don't need to disparage a woman about what she's wearing.
exactly.
And I was like, maybe it's the venue she's playing in, because she was like on a boat, like a cruise, not a cruise ship kind of thing, but like one of those bay cruise kind of things, a smaller
Mm-hmm.
party boat kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you don't know, maybe that's the theme of the night, and the promoter, the people who hired her for that, wanted her to dress in a sexy way to fit in,
Right,
right?
right.
And so, and clubs, I mean, why can't if I wore like what I wore when I was going to the clubs when I was 18, 19, 20, 21,
All right,
but that's what you wore.
right,
You're not
right.
you're not all buttoned up.
Exactly. And that's the thing about women. I feel like, as women DJs, it doesn't matter like what you wear. You could be feminine or not. Like you should be able to express yourself however you want. And
Yep.
I feel like in a male dominated industry, I feel like there just need to be some self control on their part, because it's just like it's like it because society will say, based off on a woman's appearance, oh, she only got there because, like you said, she's cute or she dressed sexy and this and that and other. But it's just like
the promoter,
right, that has nothing to do with it. Everybody needs self control. You know what I'm saying?
Not just in the music industry,
right?
Everywhere.
Right, everywhere. We all just need self control. Everybody has the right to express themselves however they want,
Exactly.
But it's a time and place as to when you need to say something and when you don't.
Right. I'm not going to wear an outfit like that at a wedding.
Right.
Right. If I'm DJing a wedding or a corporate gig necessarily, but in a club or a party boat or something
exactly.
like that, it's a whole game, right? The whole
exactly.
is to party.
Right.
So, now you said in your intro that you're trying to move into production.
Yeah. Slowly.
Yeah.
So much more equipment to have to buy.
I tell you now that one half, behind me is my DJ setup. The desk I'm sitting at is my production setup. Now, I have a lot of toys, many of them used.
Mm-hmm.
Have I made music yet? No, but it looks really cool.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I'm working on it.
Yeah.
Are you like, have you gotten like a software or something that you're working on, or?
No, it's just an idea and an interest, because like honestly, I grew up in church. I love drums.
Mm-hmm.
And so I literally would like be listening to songs or even instrumentals, and I'll just try and figure out like what I can add differently to change it around. Or even like I grew up with my cousins doing a lot of the drumming on tables and buckets and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And that's where that stemmed from as well. So even as an adult, I would like catch myself doing things like that. And I just love music. I love putting together different sounds.
Yeah.
So right now it's just an idea, because I know that I have to spend more money to actually get into that. And I'm just like, right now I'm really just trying to focus on the DJ thing, but the next step will be production for sure.
That's a whole nother steep learning.
Yeah, right? I'm sure.
And this is a situation where I bought a lot of used equipment.
Mm-hmm.
So I keep an eye on like a local shop that has that's a music store that has used equipment, and a Facebook group that has used equipment, and
gotcha.
And so I check that out. I look for sales when they come up.
Okay.
Because right now, I want to get into it, but I can't shell out $10,000 for a home studio, right?
Right.
So I'm gonna make do with the little things that I've got. I look at eBay a lot too. And I've bid on a few things and got them, so that was cool. But now I have to learn how to play them.
Right.
I have 4 keyboards, 3. All of them I bought used. They all work, and I can do a few chords. I need to learn more.
Right.
But I can make.
That's dope, though.
I got a Korg micro synth, and I don't know if you've ever seen that Friends episode where Ross, the rest of the friends are like, "Oh, didn't you used to play keyboards? You should play for us sometimes, right?" And he gets out there and he's like making, using every sound effect and
right.
That was me with the
microphone
for like 2 hours.
Sweet. Yeah.
It was crazy. It was fun.
Yeah. I'm sure you get it.
So what DJ software do you use?
I use Serato.
Serato.
Yeah.
Don't they have Serato Studio? Or Serato Creator? Something like that. Like they have kind of a
Maybe,
DAW
yeah.
type thing. Of course, it's an add-on, right? But
Yeah, for sure. Because I'm like, it definitely is not on the software I have right now. But yeah.
yeah, no, they do. They have. It's either Studio or Creator, one or the other. But
Okay.
apparently, you can you can use it like a DAW and create your own music.
Okay. Good
Yeah,
to know.
you should check it out. Um, so here's a lightning round. Favorite track right now and why?
Favorite track right now?
Yeah. Like which one here, let me frame it for you, give you a few rails around it.
Okay.
Which track do you always try to find a way to work into a set?
Oh man. I'm gonna say Beyonce's new song that she has out. And that's pretty easy, but I love it because the house vibe it has, and I love lyrics. I love meaningful lyrics. There's certain things that I'm
Yeah.
looking for, but it just sounds good, and it's a good dance,
Yeah.
a good feel good song, and yeah, that would be I would say Beyonce's "Break My Soul" for sure.
I realize this might be sacrilege, but I'm going to say it. Beyonce did not bring back house music because house music was here and
No,
still
it
going
was
strong.
sure it was,
Right? Some
but
critic or
yeah,
somebody was like, "Oh, she brought back house music,
yeah.
dude. It's never left."
Never left. No, I agree. I agree. But Beyonce, all the credit has to go to her. But I agree.
Yeah, yeah. When I started DJing, sort of really consistently, it was during the pandemic, right? Everyone else made sourdough bread. I started DJing and live streaming, right? So I had to
Mhm.
like learn new music all the time. And one artist that I really enjoy playing regularly is Dua Lipa, man. Her music
Oh
is
yes,
so fun. You cannot sit down and listen to that.
yeah, that song she has with Elton John. I love
I
that song.
know, I know. Where it
Yeah,
whips in Rocket Man, it's
yeah,
so fire.
I love it.
Yeah, and Love Again. That's so hooky.
Hmm.
Um,
I'm gonna have to look that one up.
oh
But yeah,
man,
Dua
it's so
Lipa,
good.
she's dope. She's
She
dope. I
is.
like her.
She is. Um, let's see. Okay, next. Favorite piece of equipment and why?
My favorite piece of equipment. I'll say the microphone because I love being so goofy. When I was streaming over the pandemic and I was doing a lot of like sets online. I mean, I just love letting loose and being silly and goofy. And sometimes I'll be like vibing out by myself and I still be on that microphone just acting silly. It was just a good outlet. So I'll say
Yeah.
the microphone for sure.
I don't like my voice online. I don't like my voice online.
See, it's different for me because if most people when they see me out in the street, they have said like I look like I'm mean or
Oh yeah.
standoffish. So when I'm online, I'm like always smiling and stuff, and I feel like I smile a lot even now. But I mean, I guess people are catching me in moments of like reflection or something when I have like that look on my face. But
Yeah.
it's all good.
I know it's funny sometimes how people perceive you, right? Like sometimes
Yeah,
people say, "Oh, I thought you were so like stuck up," and I'm like,
yeah.
"Really? Like
Yeah.
really?"
Even DJing, they like recently I had did a Starbucks event and I shared it with another DJ and his wife was like, smile sometimes because you always look so serious. Like you always looking so mean. And the guy I was with, he's like, yeah, that's our focus face. And I'm like, yeah, I'm focused. Like I'm
Yeah.
like zoned out.
Yeah.
It's not that I'm not having fun. I'm just like so focused and zoned out. Like I'm just trying to like figure out how like choose the right song to mix in with what I'm playing now. So I'm just
Yeah.
like, it's not about me not having fun. I'm just focused. Like that's my face.
You know, this is a little avenue we can go down because this is like this the whole DJ is the center of attention thing.
Yeah.
Like people standing on the dance floor and watching you kind of
Right.
vibe, right? Is really kind of new. Like maybe in the last 15 years or so with the
Yeah.
festival DJs and stuff like that. Because
Hmm.
when I came out back in 1977, going to the monastery in Seattle, Washington. You could see the DJ, but he was like 10 feet up
Mm.
in the DJ booth. And a lot of DJs were in booths that you couldn't see them. Like there was a little window. That
Mm.
was it, right? You
Yeah.
never saw them. You
Right.
just heard the music. And if the music was fire, that's all you cared about.
Right.
So this whole like, I'm just gonna like stand 8 deep on the dance floor, and I'm back there going, dude, I want to dance. Get off the dance floor.
Right.
You know, is weird to me. Like I
Yeah.
have to entertain you while I'm entertaining you. Like,
Right. Yeah,
you
for
know,
sure. It is
dance,
a
go
little
do
weird.
something. Like be with the music. Don't watch
Yeah.
me.
Right. And I was like, I didn't think people paid that much attention to DJs. So I'm just like, I'm chilling. I'm over here like doing what I do. Like I'm thinking, people out there dancing, having a good time, socializing. I'm like, apparently there are people out there that are watching DJs and just
Yeah.
I don't know. So
Yeah, it's weird when I watch festival footage. I'm like, nobody. Well, sometimes they're dancing, but they're all facing the DJ, like instead
yeah.
of like dancing with each other.
Yeah. I know for sure when I go out, I'm not paying the DJ any attention.
Unless they F something up. Unless they go from a house track to a like
right. Like then I'm like, wait, what are you doing?
hip hop song with no warning. It's like like hitting a brick wall.
Right. So I don't know.
Or they get squirrely on the scratching. Like I can't dance to that. It's very good, but I can't dance to it.
Right. Right. Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah, it's changed a lot, man. It's changed a lot, from back in the day when in the 70s when everything was sort of coming up and disco for that brief moment until everybody was like, "Oh, disco's dead." Never went anywhere, just turned into house and
Right. Disco's awesome. I love disco music.
I know, but you know what? It took me a long time to learn how to mix disco, like classic disco.
For real?
For real, because it's made by humans. So that grid's moving all over the place. You get a loop going. You get a loop going, and you look away, and you look back, and it's like way over to the side, like way over here. You're like, ah, what's happening?
Right.
It took me a long time. Like I started with house. And then I moved I started with sort of a little bit of everything. And then I'm like, yeah, let me settle down somewhere.
Right.
That's a little more predictable, right? So I settled on house for a while. And then I moved into trance.
Okay.
And then I was like, a DJ that I know and love in New Zealand, Zaisha, she's a drum and bass DJ. And I would listen to her and I'd be like, dude, that's intense stuff right there. And it reminded me of bebop jazz, kind of like fusion jazz, a little all over the place. And I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this. And then one day I had a bad day at work. And my go-to is punk. When I'm anger out, I play punk. Right? Smith, California Uber Alles, Dead Kennedys, something like that, right? And I was going to try and mix punk. And then I thought, wait a second, what about this drum and bass? Let me check that out. So I got on Beatport, went to the 100, the hundreds list, and found it and started playing it just from the top all the way down to the bottom. And I'm like, oh, this is actually pretty cool. And so gradually I moved into the last things that I sort of like tested, like had to sort of learn for myself and feel secure about were hip hop, pop, because pop doesn't have very many, like both of them often don't have intros. Right?
For sure.
You don't have a lot of
I struggle with that too.
Get out, right?
Yeah.
And then disco. And then I managed to, all of those. But a lot of times, if I have a choice in a record pool, I'll get an intro on a hip hop just to give me a little breathing room.
For sure.
Right? So, what's your favorite self-care technique?
Ugh, sweet. Now when I have an opportunity, I like to go hiking.
Yeah.
And I don't get too many opportunities to do it. Or even like walking.
Hmm.
Just something about the whole bilateral movement, just to get my thoughts go regulated and calm my body down. I just like being out in nature. So if I get a whenever I get a chance, I just need to be just walking or even by a beach or a waterfall or some type of body of water, something like that is just calming for me.
Yeah, I'm glad you finished that sentence. Not that I don't
Yeah.
mind walking past bodies, but especially at the
Ah,
beach.
no, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Favorite woman DJ and why?
Oh, famous woman DJ. Honestly, I don't really have a favorite right now. I've been looking on online and just observing a lot of different just styles.
Hmm.
And I don't really have a favorite right now. I'm just gonna big myself up right now. I look at everybody else and I'm just like I and I think that allows me to be less anxious because I do have anxiety and I don't always want to feel like I have to level up to a certain
Right.
individual. So it's just certain things about certain DJs that I'll grab, certain styles or techniques or skill sets that I'll try and that I'll think are dope and I'll just, try and, implement that into me as a person to enhance my skill set and my image and that's it. But I don't really have a favorite right now. I'm just chilling. I'm
Yeah.
trying to big myself up and give myself a lot of confidence because I do struggle with that. I'm very hard on myself, very hard on
I
myself,
know
and I'm
that
just
feeling.
now learning to just take a chill pill. So,
Yeah. I think
yeah,
we've had a
so
couple of conversations about
yeah,
you're like,
yeah.
ah. I'm like,
Yeah, and that's because my eyes are on too many different people, and it's
yeah.
just like and I'm learning. Don't even look at them. Just worry about yourself, your own pace. Take your time, and everything will come at when it's supposed to. And that's how I have to look at it. So I can't even sit out here and be like, oh, I'm digging this DJ because of this and that. There, it's just like everybody's human, and
Yeah.
everybody had a journey.
Yeah.
And so this is my journey, and I'm just paying attention to me right now.
I hear
So,
you. I
yeah,
listen. I. A lot of times I listen to my own music because I
yeah,
want to hear. I want to hear my sets. Like I usually listen to my sets after I, like
exactly.
within the week afterwards. I was,
Yep,
ugh, I could have done that mix better,
exactly.
or, or sometimes I'm like, dude, and I'm from California, so I can say dude unironically.
No, that's
Um,
fine, dude.
um, I'll be like, I'll be like, is that is that the song or did I mix that? Like,
That
and
that's
every
me.
once in a while it'll be like, dude, I mixed that.
I
That's
did that.
fire. Like, that turned out really well. And then the
Yeah,
next one is like, oh,
yeah, yeah.
back to
I do
square
the same
one.
thing. Same
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. But I do follow women DJs because I find them, I see them as role models.
For sure. For sure.
So one of the first I followed was DJ Reborn out of Brooklyn.
Hmm.
And I didn't even follow her because she was a DJ. I she she had something happen on a plane that kind of went viral that she had recorded. And so I was
Oh wow.
following her on that, but then I saw that she was a DJ, so then I was even more interested. And I wasn't live streaming yet or anything like that. I was just playing a couple of gigs, free gigs here
Hmm.
and there for events, nonprofit events. And
Hmm.
for 2 years, she's the official DJ for Miss Lauren Hill. She went
Oh
all over the
wow.
world. I watched her all over the world.
Okay.
And so she's great. And through her, I discovered Natasha Diggs, Soul
Hmm.
in the Horn. and she's blown up. She was in Ibiza this summer. She was in, all kinds of. She was in Detroit. I'm in Michigan. She was in Detroit this weekend, and I had another thing. I couldn't go. I could have kicked myself.
Yeah.
If I could have divided like a cell and sent part of me to Detroit and the other part of me to the west side of the state, I would have done it. And one DJ I've interviewed here is DJ Blue Monday. They're all out of New York,
Blue
Brooklyn.
Monday.
Yeah, and then my friend is Aisha in New Zealand, and DJ Alibi in San Diego. So I follow them, I talk to them, I try to get to know them and interact with them, and it's helped me watch their successes and be like, oh, I didn't even know you could be like an opening act for a live act. Like, I didn't even know that was a thing that a DJ could do.
Right.
And so when I was following DJ Reborn, I was like, wow, I could do that. I want to do that. Right? So
that'd be dope, actually. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. So it helped me. It helps me sort of set intention and set. I understand. I don't want to measure. I don't want to get into that imposter syndrome that I'm never going to be that good, or I'm never going to do that. Right.
Right.
But so I try to frame it like, oh, I want to do that. Like, that's something I'm going to put out into the universe. I want to be a tour DJ. I want to be a club DJ. I want to do those things, even though I'm 63 and people think I should be playing yacht rock.
Yeah, nothing is impossible.
You got all these older DJs now, right? People who've been in business for 20, 30 years.
Right.
It's not like, I mean, if you're up there and you're making good money, you can pay somebody to carry that stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, right? Exactly. You think they carrying all that stuff by themselves? Absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely not.
All right. So, last question. You got to be what?
Say it again?
You got to be, finish the sentence. What?
Peculiar. Yeah. And I don't even have to be. I am peculiar because I've always been that way. I've always been like the oddball. Ever since I was younger, there was always something different about me in social settings. And even when, like I said, I was brought up in a church, and I was always considered the rebel, because I always had questions about something, Yeah. And so I just accepted the fact that, hey, I'm different, I'm odd, and that's okay. And so I'm like, we just need a whole group fan base of odd, peculiar people, just ranting and raving. But other than that, I would say I have to be great. I'm a Leo, so I'm a doer. I'm always doing something. Yeah. And it's very hard for me to just sit still and just relax.
Yeah.
And so I have to be great. That's something I have to be. And it doesn't mean that I need notoriety behind it. It's my level of greatness defined for myself.
Yeah. You
exactly.
Have to be great for yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah. So how did you come about the Peculiar One? Because that's not necessarily, I mean, it certainly stands out, but people said, well, that doesn't sound like a DJ name. I think it's cool, but
no, it doesn't, and that's the thing. I did like when I was in like I said, I grew up in church and everything like that, and I used to joke around with an old mentor of mine, and it was a name that I had put on my Facebook page way back when I was in college. Like, my name was Tanise PeculiarOne Williams, and that stayed as my name on Facebook for a while. And like I said, because I always was like an oddball. And so when I actually started to pursue DJing, and I was just like, dang, I don't know what my name would be. And I'm just like, hey, PeculiarOne, that's your name. That's who you are, and you're going to represent that. And even now, like people, like I've got a lot of people that said they didn't like my DJ name because I was a few of them. I think when I was in Atlanta, my mentor at the time gave me T Nice, and I'm like, how many T Nices are out there?
Yeah.
Like I went through a few. Like it was like T Nice, and I moved here. It was like DJ Tonka. It was a few of them, and I was just like, I didn't like it. It just did not fit me. And I'm just like, the peculiar one. That's who I am. That's what I represent. And that's what it's going to be, the peculiar one. So,
Yeah. I know people are like, how do you say yours? DJ Ald? What's that mean? I'm like, well, that's Auld Anxiety. That's Old English for old. I'm 63, right? So it's like, it's my little tongue in cheek nod to the
right,
fact that I started
right.
DJing at 58.
Wow.
Like my
I mean,
attitude
listen,
was I've been dancing in clubs for like 20, 30 years. It's like
right.
I know a good mix when I hear it.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's the thing. It's just like we shouldn't put age limits on when we are able to achieve our dreams. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you have a whole lifetime, however many years that is, that you are put on this earth, and you need to get up every day to fulfill your purpose. Just because you are such and such age does not give you an excuse. Like we have to keep going every day,
Yeah.
like
No.
every day.
And I'm working now, but this is the last paid job. Like when
Hmm.
this is done, I'm retired.
Right.
So DJing and writing are
Hmm.
going to be my like retirement gigs.
I feel that.
Yeah. So, one last thing. Do you want to tell everybody where you're going to be, what you're going to be doing, what's coming up?
Man, it's pretty quiet right now. I've been very busy within the past month or two. Right now I'm just supporting DJ Mike Scott's DJ spinoff that he has every Sunday here in Charlotte at the Press Box. I'm looking forward to the Memorial Day weekend spinoff because it's another female DJ spinoff.
Wait, Labor Day.
Yeah, sorry, Labor Day. There we go. Labor Day, that Sunday is another DJ, female DJ spinoff. Um, but I'm just out here promoting myself. Looking forward to just being booked for some more private events. But I'm glad for the quiet time because it has been very, very busy on my end. Trying to DJ part time and do everything else. Live my life, working full time and everything else. So, but
I hear you. I
yeah.
hear you. Well, thank you so much. The Peculiar.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And we'll talk soon.
Sounds good to me.